Friends, let us go ahead with the next tutorial about the Python Django MySQL Database Connection. In previous video, we have discussed about how we can create the Python Django project and how we can run our URLs, or we can say that how we can use the view. So now we are going to discuss about the database connectivity using the Python Django and MySQL database connectivity. So for the same, first I need to install the XAMPP, because I am going to use the MySQL and phpmyadmin. So I have already installed the XAMPP. So let me show you the XAMPP control panel. So if you haven't installed the XAMPP, just go to the download, go to the Google website and download the XAMPP and start the MySQL server and Apache server. So first things you need a XAMPP. Second things you need to create a Python Django project. So currently I am using the older version of the XAMPP and MySQL and phpmyadmin. So basically in that particular cases I need to use the previous version of the Django so that it is compatible with my MySQL. So for the same I will use the specific version of the Python Django. I am not going to use the latest version of the Python Django, otherwise it is asking for the latest version of the MySQL. So my mariadb version is the older one, so I will use the older version of the Django specifically. So for the same, so let us go ahead, first create the virtual environment. Virtual environment creation process will be as it is similar. So let me go to the start menu, run, let me write down the cmd. So I am going to type. I will create the folder Django 4. So this is my folder. So now I am going to create the particular virtual environment first. What is virtual environment? That I already discussed in the previous video. If you haven't referred that my previous video, just check out my previous video. So this is the first step. We need to create the virtual environment. Then second step will be downloading the Python. But in downloading the Python, we are not going to use the latest versions. So our environment is ready. So now we are supposed to execute the command, execute the batch file basically. So let me copy this command. So now my particular environment is activated. You can see the things, my world environment is there. Now let us go ahead with the Django installations. But in Django installations, I am not going to use this particular command, because this command will execute, install the latest version of the Django. So it is asking me the latest version of the mariadb, because I am using the old mariadb. So I will use some custom command, that is the pip install Django is equal to some version. So I will use the Django specific version 4.2.90. So let me use this command. Let me copy this command. Let me paste it. So it will install the Django version 4.2.19. So in these particular versions, it is asking the old mariadb. So it is it can be easily connected with my Django versions. So let us wait until the Django installation is done. It will take some time to install the Django. So once the Django installation is done, we need to create the project. Yes, it is done. So let us go back to the double schools tutorial. So our these tasks, these particular steps is a different steps that I have copy pasted from the Django original website. Then I am going to create the projects. So let me copy this command. Let me execute. So now my tennis club project will be created. Rest of the commands are as it is same. Then we need to run the servers. So we need to go to the my tennis club, cd my tennis club. We are not going to run the server right now, because we need to create the app also. So our project creation is done. So we are supposed to create the applications. So I am writing the command python manage.py start app members. So this is the particular applications that I have created. So now we can execute the commands to run the particular projects. So for the same, we can write down the command python manage.py, and so that is already explained during the create applications, so that we need to execute it. Once we created the project, it is showing the command for the py python manage.py run server, so that command we need to execute it. Run serve, so it will run my server basically. Python manage.py run serve, run serve, did you mean run server? Yes, run server, yes. So now my server is running. So let me open this particular code into the VS Code so that I can modify it, I can customize it. So let me open the folder. Let me go to the H drive, specific folder, that is a Python 4 folder. Let me open that folder. So now we are supposed to create next step. So what we have done so far, we have installed the XAMPP, we have created the Python Django project, but in Python Django project we have used the specific versions. Now we are supposed to do the MySQL database connection into the settings.py file. So that things, so for the same I am referring Geeks for Geeks website. So it is explained over here into the how to integrate MySQL database with the Django. So here is a database connection strings. I am referring this particular website. So we need to go to the VS Code. We need to go to the My Tennis Club. Here My Tennis Club, we are having the settings.py file. In settings.py file, we are supposed to update database connection string over here. So here is a database connection on a line number 76. Database connection is displayed over here. So we need to update this database connections with the default one. So default one we need to use it. So I am updating this database connections. So here we need to create the database. Here we need to set up the username and password also. So let me start with a XAMPP first. So I am starting Apache, I am starting MySQL. I need to go to the phpmyadmin and I need to create one database. So let me create one database, and that database I need to link with a Python Django. So I am opening localhost / phpmyadmin. So here I will create my database. So I am creating for, let's say, Django. So I will create the database name as a D1 for example. So my database is created. So here I will write database name as a D1. Username is a root, that is my MySQL username. Password is a blank. So let me save this particular file. Let me go back over here. So it is saying me one error message that have you installed MySQL client or not. If you haven't installed MySQL client, then you need to install it. So for the same we need to use the command. So let me press the Ctrl C 2 times. So here I will use the pip install MySQL client. So it will install the MySQL client into my current folder. So now again I will run the server python manage.py run server. Now my server is running fine. So MySQL database connectivity is done without any errors. One more settings I need to do it. I need to go to my specifically installed app. Basically in installed app, basically here we need to use members, that is our applications. Here we need to use the members. So members is our particular apps that we need to install it. So here everything is fine. So what we have done so far? What we have done so far? We have installed the XAMPP. We have created the Django projects with specific version. Then MySQL Database Connection connectivity is done. Then my application settings are also done. We have added my application settings, that is the members we have added over here. We have installed the MySQL client using the pip command. So now we are supposed to create the model. So let us go to the W3 Schools tutorial for creating the models. So let me go to the model options. So here we need to create the models. So we need to go to the My Tennis Club members and models.py file. So let me go to the members. Here is the models file is there. So here we need to create the model. So let me create a model. So either we can go with a member as a model, or we can create our own model also. I am going right now with the member model as of now. Let me save it. So now my model creation is done. Model is something that will connect with your database basically. So whenever you would like to connect with your database, so this is the model will be used to fetch the data, to insert the data, to update the data. So all the operations can be done using the model. So no need to write down the individual query. So what you need to do? Then after you need to execute the command make migration members. So this is the model. Based on the models, we need to use this particular migrate command. So let me copy this command. Let me break this particular control break. Let me execute the command over here. So instead of py, I will use Python. Python manage.py make migration members. So it is connected with my model. So whatever the model I have created, that is linking with this particular migration. So migration file is created. Then after we need to run the command migrate python manage.py migrate. So this command will exactly migrate. It will do the migration. That means whatever the model we have created, that will be reflected onto our databases. So let me execute the command. So now you can see the things. Migration is applying. So migration is updated on my database end. So here we can see the structure. So here you can see the things. Multiple databases are there. Here members underscore member, that is already created. You can see the things. So here first name and last name is there. So based on the model, we have two fields basically. So that is reflected over here. You can see the things. First name and last name. So that is reflected over here. So now my model is linked with my database. So model creation is done. So now our model is done. So what we can do is, now we can insert the data using the model also. So what we can do is, now we need to create our regular pages. We need to use the same URL structure that we have already done in a previous sections, that we need to do it again. So we need to follow the view structures and URL structures. So let me create a view. So here is, for example, register. So now I am creating the view. Then we need to set up the URLs. So for the same URL files we need to create it. So here is a reference over here. In member we need to create the URL files. So we need to link this particular register over here. So whenever you are opening the register, it will open this particular view, and right now it will display only register message. And the same things we need to include all the URLs over here as a include. So we need to copy this particular path, and we need to use the include option over here. Include members.urls, and we need to use include method also over here. So once you include this particular URL, your URL file will be included, and here is the register URL. In a register URL, whenever you are opening the register URL, it will open the view and it will display the register message. Later on we will do the another options that we will take the user input and we will do the entry into the database also. That is our task. So all these tasks are done. Now we are preparing the registration page. We are on to the registration page creation. So let me run the server. Let me run the server. Let me open the 127.1 slash. We need to use the register. So now you can see the thing, register is there. So now we are supposed to display the registration page over here, and whenever you are submitting the data, we need to fetch that data from the user and we need to do the entry into this particular page specifically. For the same we need to use the HTML. So that is a part of the template. So let us discuss the Django template. So for the template we need to create the templates folder into the members. Inside the members we need to create the folder templates. So inside the templates we need to create a HTML file, register.html. So here we need to write down some of the registration. Let's say that is a simple form. So HTML form example. Let me take a simple HTML form example code. So this is simple form example. Let me copy this code. So now I would like to load this registration.html file in my view sections. So I need to use the template. So that template I have created. So template integration code will be something different. So you need to use the loader over here. So we need to change this code instead of displaying this one. So let me put it comment. So we need to use this particular template loader, get template, our template name is register.html. One more things, we need to import the loader also. So now let me check out with the DOS prompt. So it is everything is fine over here. If it is any error message are there, it will be displayed over here. So let me refresh my page. Now you can see the things. The two datas are available over here. So whatever the HTML form I have created, that is displayed over here. So now let me customize this HTML form. So I don't want this one, and I want one more things, that is the input type submit. Value is equal to submit, and form method is equal to, right now we are using the get method, or we can use the post method also. Action, we can send it to, for example, register to. For example, let's say register to. We would like to send f name and l name, only two things. So let me refresh the page. Let me click on submit. Now you can see the thing, register to, it is saying sending data to register to first name and last name. So register to method is yet not created. So we need to go to the URL and we need to create the register to. So this is a register to, and here we need to create the view also. So let me go to the view. Here we need to create the register to view. So this is the register to. Inside the register to, we are supposed to take the data from the URL and we need to insert the data into the database using model. So we are going to use the model over here basically. So for the same, again I am referring the code of gigs for gigs. So here is a explanation how to get the request value in the Django. So here we need to use specifically this particular line. So using this line we can able to get the data. So here is the, let's say, first name, f name is there and l name is there. So we are going to refer f name, and another value we want is a l name. So both the things will be received over here. So this is the default value that is set up by the gig for gigs. So let us continue with as it is. Now we need to use the model. So model we have already created and we need to write down the model insert query that is already explained into the W3 Schools tutorials. So in a W3 School tutorials, insert data example is over here. So we need to use this sample code. So this is the member is equal to member. So that line we need to include it. So member first name is equal to f name, that is our variable. So I am writing the variable name. L name, we are writing the last name as a L name. So whatever the value you are entering into the form, that will be come up over here. It will be, object will be created as a member. Then we need to write down the member.save. So it will execute the save, that means insert method. Automatically insert method will be executed. So our data will be saved. Let me save the file. So if anything errors are there, so it will display over here. So there is no errors. So let us check it. Let us test the particular URL. Let me go to the browser. Let me go back. Let me refresh 2 times. Here it is written as a John and Doe. Let me submit. Let me click on a submit. So member is not defined. That means member include is missing. So we need to include the member into this because that member we have written. So we need to include the member over here. So we need to write down the include methods. So here explanations will be there. So let me Python Django include model into views. How to include the views? So there will be one particular reference line, so that we are supposed to use it. This is something different code. Here we have the member, so we need to include models member. So here I think that particular line will be there. So display data, pre-template, link, add master, Django admin, variables, query set. Yes, so this is the include is there. So that is the include line that we need to include it over here. Include dot models, import member. So member will be imported over here. So let me go to the browser. Let me press the reload button. Did not return HTTP response there. Fine, this is something different. So we need to return the message as a, let's say, register done. We can write down the message like this. So let me click on reload. So registration done is there. 2 times I have pressed that particular refresh button, and you can see the things. John Doe entry is done over here. So now let me go back to the previous page. Let me enter my name, Adarsh Patel. Let me click on submit. Registration done. Let me check out this with the database. So you can see the things. Adarsh Patel registration is done. So what we have discussed in summary, we have started with basic things. We have done with the insert data into the database using the model. We have created the page. We have used the template also. So all these tasks we have done so far. If you are having any query or questions, just post it into the comment sections. Thank you very much for joining online and offline.